Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to the Adventure Incorporated podcast. I am your dungeon master, Anthony Reed. This is episode 214, and it is another in the summit of New Meritta. I want to give a huge shout out to our patrons at patreon.com/adventureinc who help make this show possible. Patrons like Winton, Michael, Tony, Chris, and Francis. Without our patrons, there is a hole in our hearts that they have crawled inside of and filled. It used to just be an empty hole. Now we have patrons there, and you can be there too if you go to patreon.com/adventureinc and you throw a little support in there. One of the great benefits of being a patron on Patreon is that you get your own RSS feed. It's got a unique code at the end of it. You slap that into your RSS player, and everything that you're eligible for that we post up there just goes to your RSS feed. You don't have to do anything special. I upload all the episodes up there. I upload all the bonus content up there, so it just shows up. It could not be easier if you head over to patreon.com/adventureinc and become a patron. It's just done. All right, let's get started. Nobles and farmers, knights and wenches, gather round to hear a tale of excitement and mystery. Brave adventurers facing grave dangers. Keth, the fighter monk.
On a lighter subject, how's the whole corruption of the Iora Church going?
On a lighter subject?
Yeah.
Jebeddo, the rogue.
We're basically family. So do you want to admit to your family that all you want to do is learn how to read so that you can read pornos?
Jennuvera, the sorcerer.
Oh my god, guys, it worked. The plan worked.
High fives!
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. We should have a plan more often.
Gillik, the warlock paladin.
Also, I'm gonna cast Detect Magic to see if any of them are magic.
None of the gowns are magic.
What the fuck?
Asher, the druid barbarian.
With my nipples? Why are my nipples not convincing?
Prepare yourselves, for this is the tale of Adventure Incorporated. So, at the request of Kaelith, as her first act as the High King of New Meritta, Evian puts your meeting into recess. She says, let's take some time to discuss things, get our bearings, and we'll meet back here in an hour. So during this hour, each of you have an opportunity. If there is someone you would like to go and speak to in a private manner during the course of this meeting to prepare for going forward, now is the time.
Jennuvera would like to find Victoria Callis.
Okay. All right.
She would not like to, but she has to.
So Callis just stormed out. So she's not too far gone. And as this goes into recess and you head out, you see that she has retreated to her pavilion that she set up out in the grounds at Adventure Incorporated. She's got her whole cadre are over by the pavilion, like standing guard. There's a ton of people in her tent. And she has moved back into the tent as well.
Hey, can I come in?
The guard standing out front says, Her Majesty does not want any visitors.
Yes, I know, but it's important for me to, talk to her right now.
From inside the tent, you hear Victoria's voice say, let her in. The guard steps aside, and as you step through, she looks around the room. She says, clear out. And her people begin to leave.
Oh, God. Okay, before you say anything, I am going to apologize, because I fucked up. I'm going to apologize and then say something rude. You're so rude that I just got so mad and I just I did it. But if you'll support Evian, I will give you Verena back. I know that's why we got you here in the first place, but I just, like, I couldn't, my brain, it was a lot of pressure, and there was a lot of things going on, and so I am sorry.
I do not understand
Yeah,
how you can
either.
stand up there and claim this title and understand so little about this world.
Because
and how
I'm an
this
idiot
works.
and like 16 years old.
I always forget that.
Yeah.
I lived the first 15 years of my life in an underground library with just my dad. Like, I have very little real world experience at anything. And so, like, sometimes I get a little carried away because like I said, I read a lot of books, and sometimes things happen so perfectly in books, and everything works out, and you just say something and take a strong stance, and then everything falls into place from there. But this is not a book, and I understand that. And like, I get it. I am not a king. I didn't want to be in the first place. And I know that it's probably jeopardizing some crazy thing somewhere down the line that I'm even telling you this. But what we needed was someone to be on the Council of Kings and support the High King. So if you are willing to do that, that's why we brought you here. And I know I messed up. But will you do that?
You brought me here, and I have listened to what you had to say, and it is absolutely clear to me that you are not wrong, that there is something big going on, and that this world is going to need the support that you are asking for. I want to be able to put the power of the throne behind that. First of all, I want to take my throne back.
Yeah, I want that too.
Second of all, I want to be able to support this endeavor.
Hey, same.
It is clear to me that in whatever time you spent as pretending to be the king of Verena, you never understood that place or those people.
No, I know.
If I go back to them, as we are having this conversation now, there is no way that I will still be king by sunrise.
What?
These people, above all else, they want stability. They want things to be the way they were. It is why, when the Cardozas took over, my court was still filled with the very nobles who just fled. And some who hadn't even had to flee. They left when the Cardozas took over. It is why those same nobles did not populate your court when you took the throne, because they want what we had. Now, if I come back, that is a good first step. But if I tell them we have sworn fealty to a high king, and that we are marching to war, and that we have changed everything, it will not last. The nobles are as powerful in that kingdom, more powerful than any other kingdom. It is why Evian never understood what was happening either. In her kingdom, her word is law. In my kingdom, my word is law, if the nobles agree.
Is there anything we can do to help? I mean, I know you saw a really long list of things to do, and I know I was a shitty king, but I am good at this stuff.
First of all, for me to be able to do this, I need to maintain strength. You handing me back the kingdom that already belongs to me is parody.
Oh, you want to punch me in the face?
No.
Do you want to just punch me in the face and then you can tell everyone that you beat me up for it?
That's
fine with me.
That is not how... that I cannot hold power like that either. As you may have guessed, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not an adventurer like you. I don't solve my problems with violence. What I need...
Do you want to attack me with your words?
No.
Very good at that.
What I need is a trophy. I need something of yours that I can take back, something of value that I can add to my collection to prove to these nobles that I have dominated you.
Jennuvera, like, looks at her hands. She looks at her tail. She, like, looks at some of her hair. When you mean, like, are you getting, like, do you want to, like, take a finger? Like, what? I don't know if I could.
No.
Well, you said.
Do you have nothing of value short of your fingers?
She goes in her journal, and first of all, she pulls out a journal, and then she says, oh, "By the way, this is probably not going to win me any points, but you are a very good journaler. Not that I read them. I read one. It was very steamy.
For the first time ever, Callus seems unsettled. She seems like you've caught her on the back foot.
Yeah! So fucking good.
I'm just gonna. You can't have this though. I need these notes. But she pulls out a copy of the King of Wind and Lightness, and she says, "This is my favorite thing in the world."
I need something that when the nobles walk into my courtroom, and I have it on display as an example.
There's a platinum carriage somewhere.
That is true.
Like what sort of? Can you give me an example?
Do you have anything exotic, rare, valuable, unique, individual? Something like a ring or some piece of magical power that you carry with you that I can point to as an example of the last person who crossed my path when I am speaking with these nobles?
Oh, well, that's all you want?
You sure you don't want a finger?
You're sure you don't want?
Honestly, that might be easier.
Okay. She's gonna give her the Ring of Evasion.
Okay.
It is something that I have and have never used.
But it is important.
No.
Super valuable.
You've definitely been hit by AoE spells. You probably should have used the Ring of Evasion.
I should have used it, but I haven't, which is why I'm very willing to give it up.
It's your most valuable possession.
It is. This has saved my life in battle, like 100 times. One of the only reasons I'm standing here today, having succeeded in my adventure so far, is this ring.
That will put me back on the throne with the power that I need to make this happen.
It'll also help you duck if someone throws something at you.
Well, let's hope that doesn't occur then, shall we?
Yeah, I guess.
The other thing that I'm going to need is something substantial politically to bring back with this alliance. If I am to swear the fealty of my kingdom away, there needs to be something coming back to Verena.
Like a letter? I can write very good, strongly worded letters.
A letter is nothing. I need support
a letter
to the
could be
north.
very powerful.
I need money. I need value from this to come back that I can prove out to the nobles.
I can give you like 50,000 gold and we can like, do you want us to send one of our adventuring teams out?
That's not really the scale I'm looking at here. Here's what I would maybe recommend.
Okay.
If we can maybe put some pressure on Greywood to negotiate some favorable trade deals that involve the waiving of certain taxes he has put on resources out of Bradmont. That might help ease some of the burden here.
Okay, so I can't promise that, but I can ask.
If you make that
I can't
happen,
waive his taxes for, I can't. I'm not him.
No. Although I do, as I understand it, you do have a nice inn with the new High King. If you can make this happen, I will swear fealty. And I will do what I can to put Garhand in line as well.
Okay. And yeah, we're going to work on that from the corruption angle as well. So that'll be helpful to come at him from a couple different sides. So you want me, she's like taking notes in her journal. But it's like the journal that she had taken out as an example. So it's like in the margin of a already full page, like, so you need him to waive taxes on what exactly?
We import a lot of wood, cotton, silk, and food from Bradmont. And he has been especially irksome lately with his tariffing.
Probably because everyone died from the orcs.
I don't particularly care why. I
That
need
sounds right.
resources for my people.
Okay, so you got my ring. I'm gonna ask Greywood, and then we're cool.
Yes, I suppose we are.
Jennuvera holds up her hand for a high five.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing that.
I didn't think so. That was too much. I'm sorry.
I will come back for the rest of this meeting, and then I will be taking my place back in my palace when I return.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
Is this a better dress?
it is better.
Yes.
Okay.
Mikey.
Okay. Cool. All right. Oh, I'm so sweaty. That was Jennuvera saying that. Also stuff.
Anyone else have anyone they want to talk to?
Yes.
He wants to talk to Callus and ask about his outfit.
How's this look, lady?
Look at me now. So Keth was like, Keth wants to talk to Balance, but he wants to remember. Gebeddo talked to Salius. What the angel that sent him there? That was an angel of somebody, Salius as well.
Of Salius, yeah.
Teledoc.
Salius. Teledoc,
The
right.
number one service for
yeah, that's why I don't remember, because it's a shitty service. Yeah, so Kath wants to find Balance.
Mike's
and
out here
just
burning
ask
all our
his
potential
advice.
sponsorships up. Like, come on, man.
Right?
Listen, we're an indie company, and we will always remain that. We will never sell out.
we're visited by an angel of Verillion, and it's named Taco Bell. Like,
Kath would be so mad.
All right, so
Anthony gets mad at me whenever I try to put in sponsorships. It's a big fucking no. Whenever he does it, everybody's cool with it. I see. With some bullshit.
all right.
Also, Mikey, you won't be talking shit about Teledoc when that's the only kind of doctoring you can do because of social distance.
It's good.
All right. So you go and you talk to Balance.
Reality's sad right now. Yeah.
You want to go talk to Balance?
Yeah.
He and Baum are sitting together.
Baum.
Hey, Balance. Hey, Baum.
Ah, Keth, it is good to see you.
That went really well. What do you think?
I think that there is a lot going on, a lot of very difficult things that we are going to have to deal with.
I mean, yeah, but like it's a victory, and I'm just trying to. We so rarely get those, and I don't know. I'm just happy that we're taking a step, I think, in the right direction. Yeah. How have you been in the order?
We have been rebuilding. It has been difficult, but it has been important for us to try and find places to connect, as we once did. With Baum back, he has been trying to understand the way that magic has shifted and changed since he left this place. And things are becoming dire.
In what way? In what way?
Baum says, when I left, magic was visceral. It was primal. It was untamed. From what I understand, even now, it is tamped down. But I can feel that magic is fading away fast. Not all of the magics. There is some connection still to many of them, but there is one magic that I have lost. It is rapidly dwindling. Transmutation is fading from this world.
Yeah, with us closing all of the ley lines, we have a piece of it in this world, but it sounds like that. Yeah, Elatrix kind of told us that this might happen.
A piece of the magic, a pure piece of that magic, like when we were in evocation and steeped in evocation. If you had a piece of that, I could see how that could permeate this place, provide some power. Transmutation does not have that. It is failing, truly failing in this place.
One of the things that we had talked about, like, after this is all over, after Gorm's dead, do you think there's a way to open back up the ley lines?
I don't know how you would get there. I don't know how you would reforge a connection through the cosmos. And I don't know. It'd be simple enough in theory to get back if you could figure out how to do it.
I don't know. Maybe you could watch. I don't know, Asher can do a crazy ritual that Elatrix kind of devised, or maybe it was one of the other Murphas. That we can get from that we close the ley line with. Maybe you can reverse engineer it. I don't know if you saw it. Do you think you'd be able to glean more information, or maybe talk with Asher about it because it's in his noggin?
I am a student of the arcane in that I try and understand the flows between these realities. But in terms of the actual mundane use of the arcane, the application of it, I do not have expertise in.
Yeah, we didn't quite think of the long-term consequences of these actions.
Balance chimes in. It does not seem you had many other options.
Yeah. No, we're definitely up in a tight spot. I don't know. I feel like I don't want magic to leave the world, but yeah, we needed to. This was the best route that we thought we could pursue. So I don't know. Maybe something else that we talked about this sovereign, the king killer. Yep, that's what it's called.
Slayer.
So we can kind of manipulate the celestial pact Have you ever heard of anything else that can kind of manipulate it, bend it, kind of change the rules a bit? We have a celestial kind of ally at this point who can go against the pact, but he was exiled as an angel. So that's the only way that we've kind of seen outside of this sword to mess with this big old pact.
The Order has put a focus on this world's connection to the elemental planes and to the planes of magic. The planes of deep magic are connected as these other planes are, but their connections have been changed and severed, and it is a different kind of connection to this place. Our focus is much more on the closer planes, the inner magics of fire, water, earth, and air, and my expertise was to look beyond to these arcane magics, but most of our order does not even focus on that. Our focus is on the elements. I'm sure there are others who know more about this pact with the Celestials, but it is outside of my expertise.
Keth pulls out the elemental blade and just shows him. So this is what we returned from evocation. I don't know how much time you were able to...
I can feel the evocation radiating off of this.
I'll have to clear it with everybody, but after we're done with Gorm, maybe I can pass this off to the Order.
This would be a highly guarded and prized relic. We could ensure the safety of this for generations.
Cool. Balance. We touched upon it a little bit. Our kind of personal quests in order to fulfill these, empower these weapons that we have. And he holds up the quarterstaff. Mine is tied with Dunglaris and destroying him. But the taint of Iora that he's kind of initiated and is leading has also permeated Bradmont and among other things. But I don't. Do you have any advice on kind of pursuing Dunglaris and how to approach this? It's just I feel like we're kind of lost in that route, and we need these weapons empowered in order to complete this thing.
I have heard word of a consolidation of power in the schism of the church, and that it is growing in strength. At this point, I think if you are able to stop Dunglaris, you have stopped him, but you will not stop his movement. And so, if it is worth it for you to stop him, if it is worth it for you to put out his light, then worry about him. Do not worry about the following he has built. You must focus on what you can handle before you try to step to something larger.
No, that's great advice. My just main issue is he's basically invulnerable, and I don't know how he got this pendant thing, but it's really a pain in the ass that is just real. I don't know. We can't kill him. We can't stop him.
I don't know.
I'm frustrated.
I've seen a lot of magic in this world. I have never seen magic that makes one absolutely impervious. There has to be a caveat to that. There has to be something that will let you through.
Yeah.
And at the very least, I can tell you this. Magic is failing.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. All right, stay well, and thank you so much for coming to this. Do you have any questions for us about anything that you saw here?
Not as of yet. I am awed a bit, but we are taking it in stride.
Yeah, this shit's crazy. Thank you, and until next time. And Keth taps his head and bows to both of them.
Jebeddo, Asher, either of you?
Yeah, can I talk to... So I have two I want to talk to, and it would be cool if I could talk to them together. If not, that's fine. But I want to talk to Eltrix and Iron Shaper.
Yeah, that's probably fine.
Okay.
So the two of them are talking to each other.
Sure. Perfect. How convenient. So I go up to Iron Shaper and Eltrix. I'm like, so Eltrix, hi.
The purpose of this Oh, Asher, yes.
Hi. Good news. We finished. We did it.
You have closed the last of the ley lines.
Yeah. So we're partly done.
Well, yes. We have bought time.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I can do that others can't, I've done.
Mm-hmm.
So now what? I don't know.
Have a seat,
Okay.
Asher. Have a seat.
Sure. I sit.
You know that your purpose with this group is larger than a ritual that you could cast.
Yeah. I don't know. I accidentally giving the sword a murdery purpose was it put some things in perspective and made me realize that I think since all of the ley lines have been closed, which I guess hasn't been very long, I've been trying to desperately reach out and grab something that feels as significant, and maybe that's misguided.
Maybe.
Also,
first of all,
sorry, and I pull out the cards of casting. Also, I was told that this also has an unspoken purpose, and I can't quite figure it out, but it helped us kill the Lich and is tied to Virillion, so that's neat.
Iron Shaper reaches across. He looks to you for permission.
Yeah, you go for it.
He slides it to himself. He starts looking.
Don't flip them. Do not flip them. Oh my god.
He stops. He
If
says, I'll be careful.
Don't. I think you can shuffle it because I have shuffled it. I think, but don't flip them because it might be the craziest game of Go Fish. We might summon fish, or it might be a fireball. Sorry.
Do you have a command?
I have...
My favorite part about this is every spell appears once, so it's going to be the most boring game of Go Fish.
Do you have Dominate Person? No, I only have Dominate Monster.
No, Go Fish.
Damn it.
I have Hold Person. Ugh.
Do you have Power Word Kill? Oh, I'm so sorry. I had Power Word Kill.
Okay. Eltrix says, it might be misguided for you to desperately reach out to try and find a thing. And it may be hasty. You may incur risk that you might not otherwise have brought upon you.
Yeah.
But in this instance, I think you may have created a blessing in disguise.
A blessing in disguise. Go on.
I don't think that Evian would agree at this moment, perhaps. But the likelihood that we were going to find someone who would have given up their power to a High King. Indefinitely.
Well,
I find it pretty unlikely
that's good.
that you have put a built-in expiration date. While it is perhaps not the initial plan, I think it may have bought you power at the negotiation.
Well, it came out of my brain kind of spontaneously, so Brilliant's the god of chance, right? Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that.
It is?
And the other thing, Asher, is that you are a part of the Many Pennies in a way that all of you are a part of the Many Pennies. And whether you are needed to cast a ritual or not, you still carry one of those weapons at your side.
Sure.
You are still needed for this group. You are still part of what they are. And you can't let that slip away.
But
no one else was casting the ritual you were casting. But no one else. They are all part of the team as well. You all bring something here. You all bring something to this union that is needed to stop Gorm.
Yeah. Also, sorry to just kind of unload some stuff. We all have, and I shake necromancy, things like this. One is missing.
I can feel that.
Transmutation is transmutated itself into an orb of shadow. Or maybe someone else.
No, I don't think so.
Do you think we just
if
don't?
that were a transmutation, then the transmutation would still be there.
That's fair.
It could be undone.
So
I don't believe that's what happened.
Okay, that's good to know. Because I think we need to figure out... I mean, I don't know if we can even open these things up again, but... if magic's going to go away, that's going to be number one. It's going to be the first one to go. And, I don't know. That's the magic of change, right? What do I do all the time? What is my number one tool in this universe for fighting? Shape change.
I don't know.
It's shape change.
Yes. No, I see.
Sorry.
I wasn't as familiar with... I haven't...
Druidness.
But that... I understand.
It's fun. You should try it.
Yes. If this world loses one of its pillars of magic, it is not going to look the same as it does now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think it's chaos.
Huh?
I'm looking at this thing. I am trying to determine its purpose. And as best as I can tell, it's a dumb joke.
God damn it. I thought it was like a Herald of Verillion. You have no idea how close I came to saying that. And man, it takes a lot for me to not say something stupid, okay? But I was confident it was real, and that's why I didn't. And now, who knows?
Well, don't get me wrong. I think that this deck does the things it does to maximize chaos. So if it doesn't do things randomly,
but it does.
It does things to increase chaos around it.
Huh. Well, maybe that's helpful, because transmutation, magic of change. If we don't have change, we have chaos. Or if we don't have change, we don't have chaos. But if this... Don't...
Maybe just be careful.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Know that this intention of this thing is to...
be a dumb joke.
It's a joke.
It killed a lich.
Well,
Also, one time it opened up a shadowy orb. And another
it's a
time...
pretty good trick on the Lich, I guess.
Well, he didn't think so.
But I guess the deck did.
Yeah, it was honestly pretty sweet. That's all I have to say for these people.
You just immediately turn around and walk away.
All right, bye. No, I didn't know if you wanted to cut away.
Yeah, Jebeddo approaches Visong carefully. And he like
He gets the little sneaky thing.
yeah. Right. And very quietly and very slowly raises his finger, points to him and casts message and says, "Hey, do you have a minute?"
He turns. And then his eyes... He makes like a strange face. And he walks towards you and he says, "Yes, I do." It is odd. When I have used that spell before, I was able to respond to someone who sent me a message.
Could you not respond?
No. It's like the spell failed before I was given the chance to respond.
Hold, please, while I pull up my character sheet. Because that makes me nervous.
It is transmutation.
Oh, no!
I'm surprised. I thought it would be enchantment, but...
No!
All those fucking jokes about us breaking message. Every time we cut Jebeddo's message off, we were... Oh, my God.
Oh, no. Shit.
Those
It wasn't.
were important. Those are precious messages. And you wasted them.
But it was funny, though.
Fuck you guys.
You've taken away my best spell. This is your fault.
Now I'm going to take away something you love.
Yeah. Now I'm going to take away... All I could think of was your butt. That was all I could think of to say.
Don't.
Your butt is mine.
Now I'm
could
going to
cause a
take
lot
away
of
your
problems.
butt.
I mean, I do love my butt.
I do too.
Yeah. No,
It's
it's
a
very
strong butt.
important, guys.
Everyone,
it's not even a
everyone
joke.
admire it.
Yeah.
Just like,
Sorry, message. R.I.P.
Right? Jesus, what a terrible reveal.
Oh, I hated it. Is that...
And he's never, you know that Anthony's never, he hasn't had the chance to do that in the past 2 months because we've always cut it off.
we've been such dicks.
if we're really quick, we can sneak one in.
Yo,
right.
we did it.
Hey. It's 10 kilos
Yeah,
of transmutation into the air.
You remember that app, Yo? Where you could just send a yo to each other and that's all it
No.
did?
Wow.
No.
Oh my
I
God,
do.
it was the best. It was the best app in the world.
What
Yo.
a useless
great.
app.
Downloading it right now.
Sponsor us, please.
So
This angel's named Yo.
Jebeddo is obviously taken aback by that, also, in addition to Mike. And like his brain racks for a minute and he's like, oh. So that actually kind of ties in with why I'm so glad you're here. So, our friend Gillik, he's in pretty deep with Shadow. And I mean, I guess I got a question about him and then like some pretty big questions, obviously, about the nature of shadow and the Celestial Pact and, some pretty heavy stuff. I don't know, like, as a representative of the Seekers, what is your, like, kind of comfort in guiding us on those things?
I can answer what questions I can. Our knowledge is not as complete as it once was. The touch of shadow that we would use to fight the shadow has been lessened over time, but it has come back. It is more present now than at any time any of us can recall.
Yeah, that makes sense. Based on what we've seen.
In some ways, we are rediscovering our place in this cycle as well. But what answers I can give, I would give.
Okay. So I guess the first question I've got is there hope for my friend to not be completely consumed by the shadow?
There has to be. Remember that the way that shadow functions, the way that it is, it changes what it touches. It overwrites. It creates from what was, creates shadow in its place. If your friend is here without shadow, if he is with shadow, but he is not fully of shadow, then there is still hope that he has resisted its push. Not unlike us. He is using shadow, but he stands by your side. You are not spawned of shadow. You do not fight for the darkness. It does not seem that he does either.
Well, that's a good perspective to have.
There are few who can do what we do. There are few who can take up the tools of the enemy and not be overrun by them instantly. That your friend has had a touch with shadow, and any of him remains, speaks to his strength, not his weakness.
Oh, I don't. This is a tricky conversation for me to be having because I don't think it's a matter of weakness, right? So much as a something that will eventually overpower him is my concern. And just trying to understand how it is that you do use shadow without it taking over is the heart of what I would love to understand about all of this.
The way I cannot speak for your friend, but I can speak for me. Those of us who have walked this path, who use the tools of shadow, we have filled ourselves with other things in life. We hold on to whatever light we can, so that when there is shadow, it is a tool to us. It is dispassionate. We do not give ourselves to it, because there is too much of us to cling to.
Okay.
There is something in you, in all of you, that holds on to him, and that he holds on to. You support him. Protect him from this while he uses the tool of your enemy against them. A power they are not prepared to face. That is why we do what we do. Because there is no tool as effective at destroying the shadow as shadow.
Jebeddo's eyes light up, and he looks at Visong, and he asks, is there a way to use shadow to remove shadow from others? To channel it, to push enough shadow to overwrite the shadow in something?
Shadow would overwrite shadow with shadow. What we have done with shadow magic is that when we see one who has fallen too far, who is completely corrupt, we destroy it by bending shadow, by forcing it to do what we want it to do. I do not know that I could excise from someone shadow by bending shadow. It has not been done. That does not mean it could not be done. But it is not something that we have ever done. We have chosen instead to eradicate when things get out of hand.
Okay. It seems like shadow magic, and the Shadow Lord in particular, has been very good at warping the pact. If we were looking for similar loopholes, where would we start to enable our potential allies in the Celestials and in the Fae to join us in the battle against Shadow again?
The Fae are not bound by such a thing. The Fae have no stake against... The Fae could face the shadow at any point. They have admirably held them back from my understanding of these conversations I have had here for some time. They continue to be the enemy of shadow. The Celestials' neutrality is due to this arrangement they have created, a governance of themselves. The Fae, they are the ones who play the sorts of political games you speak of, as do, it seems, the Celestials. Shadow does not play such games. It is probably why, of the three, it is the one that they turned against. If I, of Shadow, tried to use those tools against the Celestials, it would be far more direct than interacting with their laws they have enacted. But the Fae, they are different. Or at least they once were.
Some of my friends are wholly engrossed with the cleansing of corruption caused by shadow. I don't know, and I don't think anyone knows how we can do that without, like you said, just killing everyone affected by it. where can we learn more?
The problem is that you speak of a deep magic. A magic that only works. It works differently than the other magics of this world. One that no one has been able to truly study or understand. Even us, for a long time, we have not had shadow here to experiment with. If there are things that you would like for us to experiment with, we could try. But we have been reticent to just open that doorway to our people. Many of our members are still very secretive about their membership within our ranks. And we would hate for anyone to take on a mistake, absorb a corruption that they could not deal with, and we would be forced to destroy them. But there is room for us to learn more, especially as we find more and more of this shadow in the world, and we see its touch deeper, and there are ways that we could try and find avenues to use shadow. You could speak with the Celestials. Perhaps celestial magic is a key that could unlock removing shadow. You could speak with the Fae. Perhaps the Fae magic is a key to unlocking this. Or perhaps there is some other piece of this deep magic we do not understand. We are doing our best to understand shadow, and in times I feel like we have known it better than anyone until I walked into this room. Now I think there are parts of shadow we understand, and there are parts that likely you and your group understand better than anyone. You speak of this Shadow Lord like it is a thing that anyone has heard of in millennia.
Yeah, it's hard not to when it's like a constant threat. Sometimes literally clawing at the back of your mind, you know? That level of familiarity is difficult to shake.
And it sickens me. We have taken this charge. It is passed from family to family within our order. My father, my father's father, my father's father's father, and so on, for generations have taken up the mantle. We do this at great personal risk, because our order believes that if you do not understand shadow, you cannot defeat it.
Is Visong wearing a Belmont family crest on his robe? Like, am I just now seeing it? Like, oh, I get it. Like, no,
What is a man?
Okay. Would you accompany us to Emberfall if we were to root out the cause of the shadow, corruption on the throne?
If that cannot be arranged, I do know that there are members of my organization in Emberfall that you could connect with.
We would love that support.
That is why I have come, to see what you need, to see how we might help. Evian returns to the room. As she enters, everyone stands from their seats.
Asher stands.
She moves to a spot now closer to the five of you at the head of the table. She says, "You may all be seated." And she takes her seat. She turns to the five of you and she says, "Should we continue?" Hey everyone, just a couple quick reminders. If you like the show, don't forget to tell your friends. And you can head over to patreon.com/adventureinc and become a patron as well. You can also head to our website, adventureincpod.com, for links to our social media and the store where you can find t-shirts, stickers, and more. That's all. We'll see you next week.